Discussion of the purpose of the information that's before us.
Thank you, Mr. Commission President. This morning we're having a special meeting for a couple of items. The first one Tina is going to address, and the second I will address, and then the third we'll just go over what the protocol for a virtual meeting would be if the commission wants to go down that path. So today we have a resolution that Tina is going to discuss more fully, but how do we conduct public hearings in today's environment? Then we have a resolution regarding allowing delivery of alcoholic beverages for the short term by restaurants to help out restaurants and establishments. So, Tina, did you want to jump in?
I sent all of you the protocol that staff had worked on for trying to do more electronic meetings, having less public in the room, so on and so forth. By adopting this resolution, it would allow us to do that as well as go even further. If we're able to set up video, have you videoed in, so that you don't all have to be in the same room, and carry on a meeting in an electronic fashion such as that. We're still working on how to make all of those things happen. But if you were to pass this resolution, it would allow us to create that social distancing and keep you from having to meet in close quarters such as this.
Are there any questions of Mrs. Fisk or Mr. Shockley? The resolutions have been posted online and have been distributed to the commissioners.
Make a motion, Mr. Mayor, to approve the resolution.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Is there a second, please? Commissioner Jurdovic seconds. It's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution with regard to what would be the best terms to use here?
Emergency public hearing.
Emergency public hearings. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2. Mr. Shockley.
Thank you, Mr. President. So on the agenda, we have a resolution adopting a temporary moratorium relating to the retail sale of alcoholic beverages, similar to the action that was undertaken by the city of Fargo, and in an attempt to assist businesses that are really impacted by the social distancing restrictions that have been put in place by the state of North Dakota. This would allow for delivery of alcoholic beverages by restaurants and other types of businesses as part of their normal food delivery. This would not allow a third party to deliver the alcoholic beverages. The actual establishment itself would have to deliver the beverages. So I think Commissioner Simmons put it succinctly in saying that it's just like if you were sitting at the table, it would be the same as the restaurant delivering it to you table side. We did have some brief discussion about adding a sentence to the first paragraph that would say that all delivery drivers delivering alcoholic beverages would have to be 21 years and older. So for any non-alcoholic deliveries, it could be under 21, but I could certainly add that sentence, and if you wanted to approve the resolution with that additional sentence, you could go ahead and approve it with that addition.
Thank you, Mr. Shockley. Any questions for Mr. Shockley?
So this covers curbside as well?
Correct.
And in the resolution, it's strictly for a sealed can or bottle, so they can't have a mixed drink like a whiskey Coke or anything like that to be sent along with the delivery person.
Correct.
Additional questions?
Just one comment, Mayor, if I could.
Commissioner Simmons.
Thank you. I think that, when Fargo does it like this, I think we definitely have to follow suit for our businesses as well. I think that right now, we need to do everything we can for our businesses to help them out, and if this will help them out, I guess I'm all for it.
Point of reference, Grand Forks did this also yesterday.
And I did want to let the commission know that this expires on April 27th. That's the same date as the city commission meeting. I put that date in there, and so it's temporary. And that would allow, if we need to extend it, the city commission can take action at that time. It also empowers the commission president to issue additional executive orders if we have questions regarding the implementation of this, the commission president can issue some clarifying executive orders. So if somebody had a question about, does this type of sealed bottle meet the requirements, we could quickly issue an executive order.
Thank you, Mr. Shockley.
Motion to approve with the additional language that delivery drivers need to be
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Jurdevig. Is there a second, please?
Second?
Commissioner Olson seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the alcohol moratorium as amended. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Commission President. The final item I had on the agenda was just a discussion about the ability for the city commission to conduct virtual meetings. Under North Dakota law, commissions are normally allowed to have call-ins, so you can have a conference call-in. Under the traditional rules, you are required to, whoever's calling in, they have to disclose where they're calling in from, and also that place technically has to be available to the public. There's been some guidance issued by the North Dakota Attorney General that we can continue to have those electronic call-in meetings. However, where the locations of the individual commission members would be, don't necessarily have to be open to the public. One of the restrictions under the law is that at the meeting location, we do have to have a speakerphone available. So even if all of you wanted to call in from home, we'd still need to have a speakerphone here and make it technically available to the public. What I've advised other public entities to undertake as part of the notice would be, we note that it's a virtual meeting. We give the public the call-in information, whether that's via Skype, via some type of other virtual system, or just a plain conference phone. We give them the information. We encourage them to participate through that means rather than attendance at the actual meeting. And we do note in the notice that the phone's available as per the open meetings law, but we're discouraging people from attending the public hearing. And that's what we would be proposing if this city commission feels like it wants to start conducting virtual meetings. And can certainly answer any questions that you might have about the virtual meetings, but it's a pretty straightforward process.
Thank you, Mr. Shockley. Any questions of Mr. Shockley or discussion with regard to the whole concept of virtual meetings? Commissioner Simmons.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's a very good idea that we do this. My question would be, are we set up for it? Tina, is James, I mean, we had a heck of a time when the mayor was gone passing that conference phone. I don't want to go through that again.
That is something that we are currently working on to make sure that it actually, the technology will be in place and will work. I have had multiple calls with IT and we are still working on it, so we will keep you posted. So yes, we will get it working by the time we need to do it.
Okay. Commissioner
Olson.
Would this apply to like the Planning and Zoning Commission or just this commission?
Planning, it can apply to any board or commission of the city. And so we just need to have a speakerphone available at its normal meeting location. We have a draft outline of what the notice should look like. We just need the technology calling information to insert into it along with the standard meeting time and date. And then I always encourage that those meeting notices also be posted on the website and provide a copy to the newspaper. When we're taking these extraordinary steps to have virtual meetings, it's better to err on the side of giving extra notice to people. I think in this time period, it's really good to have a lot of transparency about how government's operating so that people feel confident and we don't need any rumors about certain actions being taken.
Thank you, Mr. Shockley. We also have another meeting coming up that normally does generate some public interest with our, somebody help me,
Equalization.
Board of Equalization meeting. And, there's that real potential that we'll have to have accessibility for multiple call learners and like that. So I would hope that the technology is on point for that too.
And
I'm sorry.
Mrs.
On
Fisk?
that note, I had a conversation with the head of the assessing department, Nick Lee, last night, and he's going to be sending out, he's been talking with his counterparts across the state and how they can do this meeting and have it work best for the public. And he's going to send out a draft of the protocols that he feels would be the best to use in this case, and it will still give every citizen the ability to request their value be reviewed or protest their value or file for an abatement in the future. So I will get all those out to you shortly, as soon as I have them from him and I've had a chance to review.
Commissioner Simmons.
Thank you, Mary. One more question to John and Tina both, I guess. Do we know how Fargo is moving forward with theirs? We're such a, I guess this metro, we're so entwined with everything. I just think that it would be good to have conversations as far as how they're doing it as well. And perhaps rather than reinvent the wheel, we can jump onto that wheel.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. From what I've been able to gather from talking to counterparts in Fargo and Moorhead, Fargo's take on this is different from ours. They have a huge facility with a lot of electronics in it, so they've been holding multiple meetings. They also have some of their staff still on site doing work. So we've taken a different approach. We've done employees first, safety first. So to follow in their path the same might not work. Okay. To at least be informed on what they're doing and learn from their practices and amend them from there for what works for us, I totally agree. I will get in touch with them again today and make sure I'm not missing anything that they're doing that we could take advantage of and work with.
Fair enough, thank you.
Any other discussion on the virtual meeting proposal? What is your pleasure? Commissioner Thorstead.
I think we missed the approval of the minutes of March 13th, and I just want to note one change. I was not at that meeting. It has me listed as being present. I was not at that meeting, so.
You were in spirit, though.
I was trying hard to get here. I was really trying
We talked
hard.
about you a lot.
We talked about you a lot.
Is that something I'm supposed to do today? All right. We have before us the virtual meeting proposal.
With that edit, I will make a motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Jurdevig. Is there a second, please?
Second, is it?
Commissioner Simmons seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the virtual meeting proposal that's been presented this morning. Is there any further discussion?
I think the motion is
No. I'm going to do that next.
I
I'm gonna
didn't
do
know
that.
that.
then I apologize. I was sure I will make that motion too.
All right.
It wasn't the motion I
Thank
thought I
you.
was.
Thank you.
Fiddle's on the second, then.
I thought that was just a discussion item. That's fine.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next order of business is to approve the minutes of March 23rd, 13th. March 13th.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a
With the,
second?
with the change.
I'll second.
Commissioner Jurdevig seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of March 13th with the change as noted. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Is there any other item that needs to come before this meeting today? Commissioners, anything?
Our new economic development director still on board, arrive in mid-April?
Yes, she is. We've been in contact with her and we've been sending her information so that she can hit the ground running. She's very excited and she's been doing her research and her homework, and we'll keep bombarding her with information, and she is going to be here even if she's in quarantine when she gets here.
For general information, there is another mayor's press conference this morning at 11 o'clock at Fargo City Hall. We are practicing safe distancing. There'll only be 10 of us in the room, and they spread us out all over. Also on Thursday at 1 p.m., there will be a economic development meeting that is being hosted by the mayors as well. At that meeting, there'll be a little larger crowd and a number of call-ins. Mayors of Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, Cass County Commission, 2 people from the chamber, Bremer Bank, who has a lot of the information with regard to the federal monies that hopefully will be approved and coming this way. Mr. Judd Graham is doing that. Melissa Brandt will be on for the Downtown Community Partnership, Derek LaPointe for Downtown Moorhead, and Mr. Tim Soberg of West Fargo is joining us. On the phone will be Joe Rosso for the Greater Fargo Moorhead Economic Development, Greg Tavine from Emerging Prairie, Charlie Johnson's from the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and Bryce Johnson from the Home Builders Association of Fargo Moorhead. So that will be focused on tomorrow on economic development. Today is just going to be updates of what the cities are doing, what the protocols are, whatever changes that we've made, and that type of thing. So with that, is there any other items that any of you would like to bring forward? Mr. Simmons,
Make a motion to adjourn.
is there a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Olson, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned. You recovered nicely.